Today I am sharing 5 things I learned from Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis. Gregor Samsa's transformation is strange and shocking, but the story isn't just weird. It's full of lessons about life, family, and identity that we can all relate to. Let's dive in. One of the biggest takeaways from The Metamorphosis is how unpredictable life can be. Gregor Samsa, the protagonist, wakes up one morning to find himself transformed into a giant insect. Just imagine that. Your life is normal, you're going to work, and suddenly everything is completely different. Kafka uses this bizarre event to show that life doesn't always follow rules or make sense. Sometimes circumstances change completely without warning, and you are left to figure out how to cope. For Gregor, this sudden change is more than just physical. It affects his job, his relationships, and his sense of self. It's a reminder that unexpected challenges can strike anyone at any time. In our own lives, we might not wake up as a bug, but we do face sudden setbacks, losing a job, falling ill, or experiencing family issues. The key lesson is that life is fragile and unpredictable, and it's how we respond to these changes that really matters. Kafka teaches us that while we can't control everything, we can control our resilience and how we try to adapt. Another important lesson is the devastating effect of isolation. After Gregor's transformation, he is confined to his room, cut off from the normal life he once knew. He can no longer communicate with his family properly, and they struggle to see him as the same person. This isolation brings him intense loneliness and sadness. Kafka shows that being misunderstood or rejected can hurt deeply. Gregor isn't just physically isolated, he's emotionally isolated too. Even though his family initially tries to care for him, they grow impatient, frustrated, and eventually fearful. Many readers can relate to this one on some level. We have all felt alone at times, even if we aren't physically trapped. The story highlights how important communication and understanding are in human life. Without empathy, even those closest to us can make us feel invisible or unwanted. Gregor's loneliness is painful, but it reminds us that human beings need compassion, attention, and companionship to feel whole. The Metamorphosis also teaches that family relationships can be complicated. At first, Gregor's family depends on him. They rely on his salary and hard work to support the household. He has been the provider for years, always putting their needs above his own. But once he is unable to work and care for them, their attitude changes. They feel anger, disappointed, and resentment. This shift shows how family dynamics are often tied to roles and expectations. People may love each other, but they also have limits, frustrations, and selfish tendencies. Gregor's family initially feels pity for him, but gradually their resentment grows stronger than their compassion. This teaches us that even within families, relationships are not always straightforward or fair. They require patience, understanding, and empathy, especially when someone is going through a difficult time. It also asks us to think about how much we value people for what they do versus what they are as individuals. A major theme in Kafka's story is how identity is tied to work and purpose. Gregor's life before his transformation is almost entirely defined by his job. He works long hours as a traveling salesman to pay off his family's debt, and this role becomes central to how he sees himself. When he wakes up as an insect and can no longer work, he struggles to recognize who he is. This highlights an uncomfortable truth about modern life. We often measure our value by what we produce or how much we contribute to others. Losing one's purpose or job can feel like losing a part of oneself. Gregor's identity crisis after his transformation reflects this deeply human fear. Kafka encourages readers to think about their own sense of self. Are we defining ourselves by work and responsibilities, or do we have a deeper sense of who we are beyond what we do? The story invites a reflection on the balance between duty, personal value, and self-worth. Kafka reminds us that compassion and small acts of understanding matter. Even though Gregor is in a horrific situation, there are moments where simple care could make a big difference. At first, his sister Grete shows him some kindness by bringing him food and trying to make him comfortable. However, as time passes, this care diminishes and the family's frustration and neglect increase. This contrast teaches a valuable lesson. Empathy is essential, especially when someone is suffering. People going through difficulties, whether physical, emotional, or mental, need patience and understanding. A little kindness can make a huge difference in someone's life, whereas neglect or harshness can worsen their pain. Kafka's story shows that compassion is not just a moral choice, it's vital for maintaining human connection and dignity. It's a reminder that even small gestures of care and patience are powerful and meaningful. So, those were 5 lessons from The Metamorphosis about life, family, identity, and kindness. Kafka's story may be strange, but it's full of truths that still matter today. If you enjoyed this, give it a like and share your thoughts. What lesson hit you the most?